This video is for people who are not sure whether or not they want the Banishers game and want to know more about what's in the windows, what save files they have, what load file options there are, what are in the options, whether there's photo mode, what does the map look like, what do all the screens look like, that kind of thing. So it's just basically an overview of what exists in the game. We can start with the HUD. Check the description if there's a section that you are interested in. We're going to go ahead and start with the HUD just simply because we're looking at it right now. There is a compass at the top with, obviously you can see that's a cave marker, and you can see the primary waypoint for the quest, which is Love Finds a Way. The quest will sit on the top left side of the screen. We will cover options related to the HUD a little bit later, so if you don't, certain things you don't want to see, they do have a couple of things you can turn on and off. So we'll cover that when we do the options thing. When you're in combat, down in the bottom left, you're going to see the number of health kits that you have. I have 4 out of 4, and you use it, obviously, like with the square, but that depends on what you're on, whether you're on PlayStation or not. And then you have 2 sets of health bars, one for Red, which is his health bar is the white, and then his yellow is a banish bar. So that gets filled up myriad of different ways based on what you have as far as skills or gear goes. But those are his 2. And if you were to switch to Antea, she has spirit. I meant to like aim, but she has. I'm gonna switch back to Red just so you can see them. But Antea's, her blue bar are spirit points. So they're not, they're sort of like health, but they're also not health, because when they reach 0, she doesn't die. You just simply can't switch to her. The spirit point bar gets refilled by Red, and it can get refilled a myriad of different ways based on the gear and the skills you have active. Her secondary bar, the smaller, shorter blue bar, is a fusion bar. You won't see that until you get the fusion skill, which is a late game skill. So you probably won't see that for quite a while. In the bottom right, we have 3 circles, 4 circles technically, but the 3 at the bottom belong to Antea, and they are her primary skills. From left to right, they are Ensnare, Outburst, and Leap. And we'll cover those when we go through the windows a little later on. So as you get her next skill, then that circle will pop up, and that's the cooldown meter. There are skills and gear that can increase or decrease how fast or slow the manifestation meters refill. And then the one on the right is his gun. So right now the gun's loaded, and if I shoot that, you'll see the reload. And if I don't reload, it'll just stay. But he reloads automatically by aiming. So just don't hit square to reload. Which I've done so many times because so many games reload is square. In this game, reload is L2 and health is square. So don't be surprised if you hit square and it doesn't reload the gun. So just keep that in mind. Okay, so that is the HUD, most of the HUD, probably all of the HUD, I think. All right, so now we're going to check the options. So they do have manual saves in this game, which I personally love. I love games that have manual saves. I am a huge fan of the rotation system, having 3 saved files rotating at all times, just in case. There's quite a few slots. I still have not hit you cannot save anymore. So, and you can have 2 games. I've had 2 games going at one time. You can probably have 3, 4, 5. I don't know, but I know you can have 2 because I've done it. So, but they will intermingle save files. So like this could be one game, this could be another game. So just be sure that you're tracking date and time of if you have multiple save games going. If you have multiple games going, make sure you're tracking which saves belong to which game. And you can delete a save by hitting triangle if you want. which I do sometimes because there's like a lot. But, and then load game, they have 8 auto saves, I believe, intermingled with your manual saves. And then this game has checkpoints. So each time you start a new chapter, you'll get a checkpoint. So if you're playing around or messing around with something, trying to figure something out, and enough time has passed that you've gone through all of your autosaves, like they've rotated all the way through and you can't go back, at least you have a checkpoint. If you don't have a manual save nearby, you will at least be able to start the chapter itself over, which is nice. Because sometimes you get all involved and you don't realize how much time has passed and you're like, oh wait, I really want to go back. You at least have a checkpoint if you don't have a manual save. So that's really nice too. It's these checkpoints. They're automatic. And then for options, tutorial by default I think is on. I just have it off because I've done like multiple playthroughs, so I don't need them anymore. I didn't need them on the screen. There's story mode, easy, normal, hard, and very hard. You can only change difficulty when you can save, and most of the times you can save. You cannot save when he's moving or if you're talking or something like that. You have to be like standing still and not in an encounter, but you can save a lot. There's a lot of times you can save, so it's really not a thing. Just hit apply when you make a change. Hit apply. And there's some combat auto things. So here's the HUD display. You can turn off a lot of this stuff. The enemy, display information, boss information. You can turn off the compass. Turn off the quest. It looks like you keep the health bars and stuff unless one of these actually says health bar and I just don't see it. But there's a lot of stuff you can turn on and off. Are you certain you want to quit this page? Yes, that's fine. Here's the video options. Audio options, master music dialogue, SFX. You can change your speaker type. I don't know what this is. Night mode. Use this option if you need to play the game on a low volume. Oh, cool. Oh, so it's not like visual night. It's like people are sleeping night. Oh, that's a neat one. I didn't even see that. Controls. Camera option, movement. You can change button mapping. There's default. They already have an alternate for you. I use default, so I don't really know. But there's alternate. There's default. Anyway, alright. Ignore me. Doesn't matter. You'll figure it out. Dialogue. More dialogue. Some shortcuts. Yes, that's fine. Interface movement. I don't really know what this is. Interface movement and menus and interfaces. Languages. Spanish, French, Italian. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is. I'm assuming that's Polish, Portuguese. So they have a couple of things. English, French, and German. Subtitles, subtitle size, stuff like that. Yeah, no, I don't want to save anything. Okay, so then we have photo mode. I don't really do a lot in photo mode, so I can't say, hey, it has this or it doesn't have this, but you can see stuff that it has sort of like on the left. So now we'll go into the windows. By default, it tends to open on the inventory screen, but we'll come back to that. We're going to do the map. The map does have a fog of war to it. I've pretty much completed the game. As you can see, I have 99% world completion. Parts you have not been to will be covered by fog. These are all the fast travel spots. You can only fast travel from another fast travel spot. You can't just fast travel from anywhere. And then if you hit triangle, oh shoot, to Dark Woods, If you're a 100% person, this will help you keep track of what you're missing and what you're not. All of these icons will be on the map with the exception of the soul grabber, a treasure hunt, and the collectible. The altar, the haunted grounds, void, all this other stuff you can find on the map if you zoom in far enough. So like here's a lost chest. Here's a locked chest. This is the icon for the nests, specter nests. These are the elites. Let me find a scourge. Ones with the crazy ass hair. These are scourges. See what it matches. You know, all this stuff. So that's really nice. Okay, so inventory, there's 2 sub pages on here. One of them is inventory, like resources that you've collected, stuff that's specific to quests, collectibles, if you want to know what the last one was you picked up, which ones you have. Special items, these are the treasure chest maps, the caches. A check mark will be added when you complete them so you can easily see which ones you still have to complete and which ones haven't been completed. How much witch stone you have. This is found hanging from trees and in blue chests, bright blue glowy chests. This is what you use to buy things from the witch in the game, the 2 witches in the game. And this is, okay, calm down, Satan. This is just regular old monies, and this can be obtained by selling resources or looting or completing areas the leaders will pay you for doing stuff in that area. And this is what you use with regular standard merchants. And then this is what you use with witches, the 2 witches. As far as gear goes, they all have stats associated with them. If you want to know what the stat name, actually definition related to it is, you can just hover over it. Willpower, so what's willpower? Well, it increases banish damage. Wisdom increases Antea's punch damage. And vitality is Red's health points and stuff like that. Each of the gear slots, you can hit X to open up to show what all the ones you have. The arrows imply that there's an upgrade available. Each piece of gear comes with a perk. So this one in particular is defeating an enemy with a manifestation. Increases the damage of the next attacks by 50%. Each one's different and applies to a different playstyle. So if you want to do like a certain build, you can. Press square. You go ahead and update it. You can upgrade it. You can also still see the definitions in here, which is really nice. And you can see the perk again. So if you want to remember what it is. You can upgrade. You can see what the next upgrade will up your numbers with. And you can see what you need to upgrade it to each setting. So that belongs, so each one has that kind of thing. Okay, this is your skill set. In the very beginning, you'll get Unveil in like the 3rd chapter or something like that. And at that point, on this one, you can just do skills for Red. And Red's skill points are gotten from leveling up. You can obtain them when leveling up. And Antea's essence points are obtained by completing haunting cases. So once you've completed a case, you'll get an essence point. And this, as far as I know, from what I remember, we'll go over hauntings more when we hit the haunting cases screen. But there's a haunting case, and then every haunting case has a follow-up. This essence point usually comes after completing the initial haunting case. And you don't have to do the follow-up in order to get the essence. It comes from the original, completing the original case. So she'll get Unveil, and you'll get access to these skill options. Then later she'll get Leap, and you'll get access to red ones that belong to Red and green ones that belong to Antea that you can choose. Once you get even more, like there's Outburst and Ensnare, you'll start to get more and more. But you'll see that I don't have all 4 of a section. That's because in this game, it's an either or situation, but they're changeable. So in one situation, you might want charged heavy attacks damage to increase by 20%. In another situation, during another fight or different encounter or something like that, you might want to have pairing restores 15 spirit points. You can change that. These 2 are connected, and it's an either or situation. Same with these 2. They're all like this. They all have an either or situation. You can't have both. So you have to make a decision. There's fusion. This is going to be the last one that you get. Chronicles are the main story quests. You can see more about what you did with them, what happened. You can read more about it, a little more lore. And as you finish Dark Woods, you'll be tasked with either going to Mount Pleasant or to the Harrows. And it's not necessarily an either or, it's a which is first and which is second. So whichever one you do first, you'll do the other one second. But you can do them in whichever order you want. And then you'll finish up. And then haunting cases. Start back at Darkwoods. Every region has haunting cases, and every region has sort of like a primary person or persons, well, persons, for that region. So in Darkwoods, we have the Newsmith sisters. In Mount Pleasant, we have Helen Priest versus Pennington, or we've got Haskell and Lammy. In the Harrows, how you deal with the leader in particular in this area will determine some of the haunting cases that you get. So some of them are the same. Like in Dark Woods, you will always get the original Hayton's one and Prudence one. How you deal with thick skin, however, will change some of them. So like if you sacrifice thick skin, Jane will be alive and Edith will be alive and Prudence will be alive, kind of thing. Well, Prudence is always alive, and the midwife, she's always alive. But if you spare thick skin, Paris will be alive and Jane will be dead. It'll be like the opposite. So how you deal with the primary people in this will change some of the hauntings. Some of them will be the same regardless, and some of them will be different. So it's kind of fun. You can have like do a different playthrough with deal with them differently, and then you get a different haunting. It's sometimes it sort of follows somewhat of the same story either way, but there are differences. And then the follow-ups are often different based on how you deal with each haunting individually. Each haunting allows you to blame, ascend, or banish someone. And whatever you choose to do, there's usually a different follow-up for each one. And if you want to come back in here and recount, oh, who did I ascend? Who did I blame? You can check that in each of them. So here I blamed John for his wife's suffering in this one. The game has multiple endings, and whether you blame someone or ascend/banish someone will count towards the ending that you get. In the game, you can make an oath between the two of them, whether to resurrect Antea or to ascend Antea. And how you deal with the hauntings adds to each of those piles. But as you go through, there's quite a few of them. So you're like, well, how many blames do I have? How many ascents do I have? How many banishes do I have? Well, if you don't remember and you want to go look, you can just highlight each one, click on it, and it'll tell you what you did. Deserved peace means ascent. You'll know. The O'Hare sisters. We banished Elizabeth in this one. So you can recount up what you have. Because there's a bunch of different endings. Like if you choose to resurrect Antea, you get a different ending if you get enough blames, and you get a different ending if you don't get enough blames. So it's kind of fun. So, but if you want to keep track of what you did, you can go back in and find out. We banished the ghost of Alexander in here. And then the check mark and solved, you won't see this on any of the hauntings until you do the follow-up. So all hauntings have a haunting and a follow-up. Once you do the hauntings, over time, either a day, air quote, a day later or a couple days later, you'll get a follow-up showing up on the map. Once you complete the follow-up, that's how you get the green check mark. So those are the hauntings. So that's just a basic overview of the windows and things that are available here. If you have a question, if there's something that I didn't cover regarding load game or options, things that are available in the options or something like that, leave a comment and I'll do my best to answer your question.